Adam.
Hi, Daniel. I'll let you jump.
Hello. Thank you.
Daniel, we just had the news through that finally Helder Costa's future has been resolved and that he's left by mutual consent. From your point of view, just nice to tidy these loose ends up, is it?
Yes, definitely. We were all waiting for a solution, and I think we found right now a solution. I was quite open and honest about this topic. We had really open and professional talks about it, really honest talks, because Helder is also a great guy. He had a brilliant history also in English football and tremendous years. But from both sides, it was clear we wanted to have something new. It's good that this topic is also out of the way right now. And yes, we wish him all the best and all the luck in the world, and also all his best to his loves and his family, of course.
It did make me think, though, Daniel. Does that mean that there's some cash coming your way for January for the transfer window?
No, it doesn't affect our plans in the transfer window, no.
Okay. What about this game against Bristol City? I suppose we should ask about Jamie Shackleton, shoulder injury. Joe Rodon took a big hit in the game, and obviously it's 3 games for Sam Byram. What can you tell us about the injury status this week, please?
Yes, Jamie will sadly miss the game, so the shoulder's too painful. We need some further assessment. I hope that he's available then on the other side of the international break, but he will definitely miss the game tomorrow. That's definitely bad news. Yes, with Sam Byram, we have to see. We'll make a late call. I think the situation is slightly better than it was the last time, because he's more and more in his rhythm. The last time it was 3 games within 6 days. Right now we've got 1 day more, 3 games within 7 days. I know it's just 24 hours, but 24 hours make a big and huge difference when you have such quick turnarounds. And it's also slightly better because last time we had Wednesday evening the away game. There's also a bit difficult because then you travel back to the training ground, then the players have to travel back from the training ground till they are at home. It's more or less 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So in the early hours of Thursday, they just got to sleep. And when you have a home game, everything is more relaxed and they have a proper night. And sleep is the most important topic for recovering on this level for professional athletes. So I'm not too concerned, but we have a training session this afternoon, and I also want to talk to Sam also if he feels ready and fresh, because he was brilliant in the last game, and I would like to play him again, but we'll make a late decision with him. Joe is all right. I spoke about them. Warrior, Welsh, no problem at all. And we had sadly Jaden Anthony with his knock, I would say 50-50. So it was painful and a bit sore. Yesterday he rolled his ankle. Today it's much improved and it looks like he could train, but we'll have to see this afternoon. And I would say with him it's 50-50 if he's available.
It's a shame if he missed out, because he was one of the more outstanding players in a difficult game on Wednesday night.
Yes, I was pleased with his first appearance in the starting lineup, and yes, hopefully he is available. But if not, so we have to find some other solutions as well. But I would say 50-50 if he's available to play.
The atmosphere on Wednesday night was a bit strange. There was obviously there's the win, but it went a little bit quiet for Ellen Road, to be honest. Now it can't always be champagne and fireworks, like you said. I get that. Do you feel that Saturday there'll be more of that, more of a display now you've got that win back under your belt?
Well, it's the same like for the team. So when you play 46 games, at least 46 games in the league, and also 2 cup competitions, it's not like for each and every game you can burn like a candle from both sides, because it's not healthy. So you have to wait also a bit for the right moments when you are really like in up to full gear. So it's the same like for the team. You also need periods during a season when you're not there in the final gear, and sometimes you also have to control and a game and need a good game management and a bit more calm. And it was a bit the same with the atmosphere. So our supports are always great and fantastic, and I labeled them several times that as they are pretty special and unique, and definitely they are with the best fans in this, not just in this country but in football world. So Leeds United supporters are always unique and special. It's always also up to us to entertain them and to cheer them up. But one thing is for sure, so I would say that the game against Bristol is really crucial, because we are coming from such a tough period, last 2 seasons, pre-season with all these discussions, short pre-season, then difficult period in the beginning of the season with many rumors. Till September, it was really hard work, and we have worked so hard in the recent weeks with 5 clean sheets in the last 6 games and many points in the last games, which is quite good. That brought us into a really good position right now. We are in the top 6, and we want to cement this position and stabilize this position. And one thing is for sure. So in order to do this home game against Bristol is crucial, and we have to be ready for this game. For me, it's not the most important game because each and every game is about 3 points, but it's a really crucial game for us, and we need a buzzing Elland Road tomorrow. We need supporters who sing their souls out of their body. So we need to be there, and we need them to carry us. So it's our responsibility to work unbelievably hard and to work professional and to be at our best. But if they would help us again, like they always do, and if they are really on full gear, it would help us so much, because I expect a really difficult game against Nigel Pearson's side, who is always quite solid and concentrated on a really good structure and good in defending. They don't concede many goals. We have to be on it, and for me, it's one of the most difficult and most complicated games that we've played so far, and we need definitely a buzzing atmosphere. So if I can send a message out, then come on, be at your best tomorrow, because the team needs you tomorrow, and I want us to be there in the buzzing stadium.
If it goes your way against Bristol City, Daniel, regardless of the rest of the table, would you feel that you were pretty much on track for what you wanted to achieve by this stage of the season?
No, because I'm never addicted to a special point tally or position in the table after 11 games. That's definitely for sure. But our point average would be quite good if we are successful in this game. Our position in the table would be obviously pretty good. It's not like it's important where you are after 11 games. So after 41 games, we can speak about this, but not after 11 games. But it would mean then after really good spell with many good defensive games, apart from the Southampton game, apart from the Southampton first half, perhaps, it would be a perfect final finish before the international break, and it would mean that we would go with euphorism and confidence also like into the games after the international break. And I think it's quite a crucial and quite important game, and we need to be on it, and we need to be at our best, and for that we also need a buzzing Elland Road, and I hope it will be exactly this atmosphere.
Hi Daniel, do the different profiles of players change the way a specific role in your team is played? Or, for example, would you expect Ayling, Spence and Shackleton to play right back exactly the same way?
No, they are all different, and like I mentioned, so each and every game needs also a bit different tactical necessities. So, and it's good that you have different options and also different profiles. So sometimes you need the fullback a bit more like an inverted fullback. Sometimes you need him in a higher position who stretches the opponent. Sometimes it's more important to have some offensive strengths on this position, or technical strengths. Sometimes the quality in terms of heading and defending is more asked. So it always depends on the game, also the moment of the game, the timing of the game. It's always good to have different options within the squad. Yes.
In any ordinary situation with loanees, you might be monitoring their progress and considering recalls and that kind of thing. With all the loanees that you've got out at the minute, have you just had to say, well, they're not in my plans, so they're off doing their thing? Are any of them in consideration for your future plans down the line?
If I'm honest, it's not too much my topic. I have not the time and also not the energy to spend too many thoughts at the moment about this, because I'm just concentrated on the players who are with us, and they need all my attention and all my energy and all my help to support them and all my strength to get the best out of them. So I'm not too concerned and too worried about the players who are out on loan, and there's also not the time to be in touch with them each and every week. So obviously we follow quite closely what they are doing, and when there is some time, for example, also during the international break, there is some time also to think a bit more about this topic. But I think also the end of the season is too far away in comparison to, or in order to say anything about this topic, and we'll do this when the time is right. At the moment, it's more like, come on, let them keep going with their clubs right now, and we concentrate just on the players who are with us.
Maybe more a question for the Oxford manager, but Sonny Perkins doesn't appear to be playing much at the minute. Do you know much about his situation? Has he got an injury? Sonny Perkins?
No, so in general, I also don't want to talk too much about the players who are out on loan or not with us at the moment, because it's then also not my business. I also would expect, yes, other managers, for example, the Tottenham manager, not to comment about the situation of our players here. So for that, I totally respect that each and every club has his own business, and each and every player has to make sure that he's spot on and as successful as possible when he's out on loan. And yes, of course, our fingers are also crossed for our players that they keep going with good performances, without injuries. But I won't comment any decisions of other managers. For that, I've got too much respect.
Hey Daniel, losing Jamie, like you say, is bad news. I know you'd rather have him available, and Sam you'll make a decision on later. If Sam isn't in a good enough place for tomorrow, what other options would you have at left back with Jamie missing and Junior, of course?
Not an unbelievable amount of numbers, but I'm quite sure that we will send out 11 players on the pitch. It's always possible also, yes, to change a bit the formation. Also sometimes to play a player who is perhaps not used to play that much in a fullback position, then on this position, obviously, because there are not too many fullbacks available. Probably we have to go for such a solution if we don't change our base formation. Yes, you're on the right track. It would be a bit tricky, but yeah, if everything would be so easy, it would be also boring anyhow. So yes, we're working on some options.
I asked on Wednesday a little bit about Joel and Georgie and how that partnership's going. Do you have any temptation to try Joel as the 9 and to see what he could do in matches, or are you really committed to seeing Georgie play there week in, week out?
If I'm honest, I got the feeling we are right now in each and every press conference discussing this topic. So before each and every game, after each and every game, in general, we speak about the Joel Pirot and Georgie Rutter and who is the best up front topic. And I totally understand this, because it's football. That's why we love this game so much. Everyone has his own opinion, and there are always advantages and disadvantages. It's totally okay. I don't want you to stop about this. And then we got opinions from pundits and experts, and everyone speaks about this. Let's make a deal. So I give you right now, a bit lengthy, my whole thoughts to this topic. And then please don't ask me again about this topic. So everyone who is not interested right now in the striker topic, try not to fall asleep, because it lasts a little while. But I give you my whole thoughts about this, and you can discuss it afterwards. But let's not talk about this then in each and every press conference. So let's start. First, my general thought is, I'm a big believer to play the players always in their best position, because I think they can just be at their best if they're playing in their best position. That's the first thought. But this means also, if we then talk about Jorginho Rutter, Patrick Bamford, Joel Pirot, Matteo Joseph, perhaps Joseph Geller, just one of them can be on the pitch, because if you ask Jorginho Rutter, where does he want to play? Striker. Patrick Bamford, where does he want to play? Striker. Joel Pirot, he would probably also say, I like to play on the striker position. Joe Gelhardt, Matteo Joseph, that's it. If I'm honest, I also like in games sometimes to have 2 or even 3 of them on the pitch, because we need goals. This is also what we were lacking a bit in the past, goals out of a bit deeper position, midfield position, wider positions, and we can't just rely, if you want to be ambitious, just on goals from the striker position. That's my first thought. The second is, your best position always differs a little bit between clubs. Obviously, Joel has played many games for Swansea on the striker position, but also quite often even behind a quick and mobile striker, and he has also scored goals there. So it's a difference if you score 20 goals for a club who is fighting against relegation, or if you're scoring 20 goals for a club who is in mid-table, or if you're scoring for a club 20 goals who is fighting for the top position. So it's a different ask. So you can't compare this. It's never a guarantee that a player who scores 20 goals for a team who fights against relegation or in mid-table or whatever, then also 20 goals and more for a team who is in a different position, more like fighting for a top position. And with all respect to Swansea, but I think it's different if you have to score 20 goals for Swansea or 20 goals for Leeds United. So with all respect, because also the setup is different. At Swansea, for example, he was the main man, and each and every pass has to go into him. Here he plays with Jorginho Rutter, with Patrick Bamford, with Chris Summerville, with Jadon Anthony, with Daniel James, with Jan Poveda, with Matteo Joseph, with Joe Gellard. It's more like there are also some other proper players who are feeded with passes. So it's a different role if you're just the only main man, or if you play together with other players. So this is something what we must not forget. And also in comparison, perhaps to Swansea, it was also a side who I really rate them, and they played proper football, but also at times in away games, sometimes they were sitting a bit deeper and were a bit more reluctant. We need here as a striker also some other qualities. So if we speak about Joe, there are always, if we speak about Joel, there are always different qualities, and some of his qualities, they would tempt me to play him in the one striker position. Yes, of course. When we speak about his finishing, I think he's world class. I love his finishing. I'm struggling to find, even in this whole country, players who are better in this finishing moments. If he has the ball close to the box, yeah, you can already go to the halfway line, because quite often then the next touch is from the halfway line. And this is what I love about him. This is one of the advantages why I would love to play him also in the striker position. But for us, because we are Leeds United at the moment, we want to have the ball in each every moment. So we need also a player who leads the line in the pressing, who is there with intensity in the pressing. And because we're playing quite often so dominant, and also quite often against teams who are parking the bus a bit more, we need also a striker who stretches the opponent with runnings in behind, so with smart movements in behind. And with all respect to Joel and his finishing qualities, but I wouldn't label that his pressing qualities are the best in this league. So, for example, there is Patrick Bamford or Jorginho Rutter like in a top position, because they always press with intensity or with runnings in behind. So, with all respect to the qualities of Joel, but he's not the player who is lightning quick and mobile like Speedy Gonzalez anyhow, who stretches the opponent. So we have to play him also on his strengths. And to play him on his strengths, quite often at Swansea, for example, he likes to drop. Then there were quick players on the wing who went more or less like into depth. And then he arrived late in the box and was there with instinctive finishes. But our setup is slightly different. So when we ask our lone striker always to drop, to link the play, to play the ball out, and then our wingers go deep and we work with crosses, I would then play Joel definitely as a striker. But if our striker has to fulfill also some other tasks, then he's perhaps not always the perfect solution up front, because we also need some other qualities. That's also quite important. And I think the next thought is also, I think it's not healthy if we then, after each and every great game of him, when he scores goals, after Watford, after Millwall, after whatever, Ipswich, we're singing the song of Joel Pirot, and every time when he doesn't score a goal, we're putting in his head he's playing in the wrong position. It's not healthy. It's more like we have to send the message across. No. For example, at Southampton, you were in the striker position. Georgie feeds you with a pass. Come on, be concentrated on a good first touch, because then you will score as well. Instead of giving him always like the feeling when you don't score, you're playing in the wrong position anyhow. So I think it's not healthy for him. And the last thought, or perhaps second or third last thought, I'm a bit on fire at the moment. Try to calm myself a little bit down. I'm just thinking about the team, and I'm not here to win the Golden Boot. I'm not here to win the Golden Boot. I just want to be successful as a club and as a team. So if you want me, my main target is that my striker wins the Golden Boot. I have to play him each and every second. But I want that we are successful with the team. And I'm not interested if Patrick Bamford or Jorginho Rutter or Joel Pirot wins the Golden Boot. So for me, it's important that our strikers in total are there and our offensive players and score more than 30 goals. I've spoken about this, if anyhow possible, even 35 goals. And this is the most important, because with all respect also like to Swansea, they have played Joel Pirot up front, but it's not that they won the title. It's not that they are promoted. It's not that they have a natural finish in the top 6. So for me, I have just one target. I want to be successful as a club. And for that, we need players all over the pitch who can score. And right now, also the last thought, Joel Pirot is there with 4 goals in 7 games. To be honest, if he goes further on with this average, then happy days, because then he finished even with more goals than at Swansea. So it's more like, what should he do? Should he there with a double tally? Then he finish the league with 60 goals or whatever. So I don't think it's realistic. So it's quite natural that sometimes as an offensive player, you don't score goals. He's already there with 4 goals in 7 games. And we need also the goals of Bamford, of Rutter, of all the other offensive players. And no, it was quite a long story. And at the last time, because really my last thought, I always try to stay humble, and I don't overrate my position. Really, not at all. I always talk about it. It's not about me. I want to be there in order to do a good job for the club, and I want to support my players. I'm there in order to help my players. But I've won also the league twice. I know what is necessary as a team, not to win the Golden Boot, but also what is necessary in order to win this league. And believe me, we need goals from everywhere in the park. And my really last thought right now, saying this, that I'm not interested in the Golden Boot and not interested in the goal tally of one striker. I was a striker. I started my coaching career at a smaller club in Germany in the fourth tier. We had a striker. He won the Golden Boot there. So in Germany we speak about the Golden Boot when you are the best goal scorer in the league. We had to sell him out of financial reasons in a smaller club. New striker, he won the Golden Boot. Same again, we had to sell him due to financial reason. Next striker, we won the Golden Boot. So at this club, I had 3 strikers who won the Golden Boot. Then I moved to Borussia Dortmund and was there with the under 21. I had a striker, Marvin Duksch. He was frozen out of the bench. I worked with him. He won the Golden Boot in the league. We sold him. Meanwhile, he's playing for Werder Bremen. Really good striker, Bundesliga striker. We signed another one. Hamadi El Gadoui. Next season, he won the Golden Boot, by the way, in this league. So 5 seasons in a row, my striker won the Golden Boot. Then I moved to England and we signed a young, at this moment he was a relatively young guy, Timo Pukki. Everyone was talking about how he's a free transfer, he can't be great. He was horrendous at Celtic. I worked with him. He won the Golden Boot in the Championship, twice, by the way. I went to Borussia Mönchengladbach. We didn't have one striker. I converted a guy, Marcus Thuram, into a striker. He was a winger before. He scored double. We were not the best team on Bundesliga level, but he scored double figures in the Bundesliga, ended up playing the World Cup final for France, scored 15 goals. I think he was runner-up in the competition for Golden Boot in Germany. So sadly, I missed this one. Anyhow, that's right. But I always try to stay humble, but believe me, when it comes down to strikers, I know my business. I know my business. I know what I have to do. And also when it comes down to win this league, I know my business. So let's not speak about this topic anymore. I know exactly what my offensive players need. I know exactly what my strikers need. It's sadly not a guarantee that we will win this Golden Boot during this season. It's sadly not a guarantee that we will win the league this season. But with all staying humble and not overrating my position, but when it comes down to strikers, I know my business. And keep going and speculating and giving opinions and asking pundits, everything's okay. But do me a favor, also, let's not talk about this topic anymore in a press conference. And also leave my boys a little bit alone. Let them just score goals for us. That's the most important one. Let them just score goals for us. And when they do this, we're all happy and everything's okay. Sorry for the length of my answer. As you see, I'm already in game mode. I can't wait to go out tomorrow. Hopefully, the same situation for my players tomorrow, and also our supporters. We need them buzzing tomorrow.
That was immensely helpful. Thank you, Daniel.
Good.
I'm a bit wary of not wanting to drag you into another long answer for your sake, but you can't be unaware of what's going on with VAR in the Premier League at the moment. I wonder what you've made of it and what you think the Championship gains or loses from not having VAR. Is the division better for it, do you think? And I don't just mean in terms of decisions being right, but aesthetically of the crowd knowing that a goal is a goal.
Yes, there are always advantages, disadvantages. I don't have strong thoughts if I'm honest. When you're on the wrong side of a decision and you think, come on, you concede a goal, it's 1 yard offside, or a goal is not allowed, or we should receive a penalty, and there is no VAR decision, you think, why don't we have VAR? So it would make football so much fairer anyhow. If you're on the right side of a decision, I still think this, because I like if there are fair judgments, and I don't want to have a goal as a gift, for example. But yes, it's difficult because it also takes emotions a little bit out of the game. So this is definitely the disadvantage. I'm a believer if the process is really right from the VAR, because it makes the game then more fair and the decisions more fair. Yes, but the disadvantage is then the emotions are not there anymore. So for that, I think if we can get the processes right, also that it doesn't last 4 minutes or 5 minutes till there is a decision anyhow, then it makes sense to have VAR. I also leave it with the experts if we will one day also implement it on a championship level to make the decisions even a bit more fair. It is like it is. So at least when there is a goal right now and the referee points turn to the halfway line, at least you can show emotions, and this is what I like a lot. But the world is not always just black or white, so sometimes it's also like advantages, disadvantages. This is what we have to accept sometimes. Good.
I just wanted to ask Daniel, it's not unusual obviously, but we've got 3 international breaks in the first half of the season. How difficult is it to get momentum and rhythm as a team?
I take the situation like it is. Obviously, once you're in a good shape and in a good rhythm and you have good results, you would like to keep going. And then you're a bit concerned when many players are away. For us, for example, many players are away, and then you're always a bit concerned about the workload. And then you hope and pray that all the players come back without injuries. Yes, but obviously it's also sometimes good that you have a spell when you can work with some players a bit more on the training pitch. Obviously it's a bit tricky when so many players are away. So I think for us it's not that helpful because we have many national team players, but I don't complain about this. It is like it is. So it's an international schedule and we have to adapt to it and we try to make the best out of it.
And in terms of the players who are not internationals and who don't need a rest, I'm thinking about players like Jadon Anthony maybe who need more work than rest at the moment. How do you get that work into them over the 2 weeks? Is it a case of under 21 games? Is it mainly training ground stuff? Am I wrong? Do they actually need more rest?
It depends. So you can't judge it in general. When we have, for example, we spoke about Sam Byram. So for him, it's quite important that we calm the load a little bit down also during this period. Then there are players who are just coming back from injury, for example, or didn't have that much game time. They have to work a bit more. So I think there's so much pressure with so many games. There's not one league in the world who has so many games. I think it's important also, especially in the first week, in the beginning of the first week, to calm the load and the pressure also a bit down and give them also 1 or 2 days more off than normal, and also like let them work quite individualized. So some players a bit more recovery sessions, some players a bit more workload. And then from the end of the first week, then it's also good that we can work a bit more on details and can concentrate on the players who are there available. And yes, obviously the second week then leads already into the next game. So I think you always have to listen to the workload, the objective data, but also listen sometimes to your gut feeling, to your experience, how to handle the situations. I would say we handle the load quite individualized in order to make everything right, in order to have good solutions, so that when they are all back available, that they're all fresh and ready to go into the next busy spell. Yes.
And just finally, for me, which do you enjoy more? The more relaxed, more time to do coaching, or the adrenaline of match?
It depends. So as a player, there's nothing better than to play. I always loved to play 3 or 4 games per week. As a coach, sometimes you've got the feeling football without games would be nice, because you have to disappoint so many players when they're not in the starting lineup, and you have to take decisions, and that also comes away with the pressure that you have to have decisions. But obviously, when you have then also the adrenaline of a game day, and you play at Elland Road in your own living room, and the whole stadium is buzzing, and you win games, there's also no better feeling. So obviously, sometimes it's also good to have perhaps even a bit less pressure and a bit less load, when you don't have to make so many decisions and explain to the players why they are not playing. As a player, I would have loved to play all 2 days. If I'm honest, I rather was playing games than do running stuff on the training pitch. As a coach, it changes a little bit the point of perspective. Good.
Cheers, guys.
Good.
Thank you.